Calaroga Shark Media.
Hi, don't mind me. I'm just scrolling down. I lost the file. Why don't you do it again, John? Because that's not fun. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. I still didn't find story number 1 here. Can you tell it's the weekend in the summer? Here we go. Jay Leno. You know that guy? That horrible guy? Some people think he's the worst person who ever lived. He hosted The Tonight Show for, 22 years and got ratings and beat out David Letterman, and then Conan O'Brien couldn't hack it, and they had to bring Jay Leno back, and then Jay Leno thinks he knows something about late-night television and commented on it. He was a guest on the Mark Summers Unwraps podcast. The topic? Hulk Hogan. What'd you think he was going to talk about? Now the wrestling fans are going to be like, oh, I hate Jay Leno. He's the worst. So I've erased this from my brain. Back in 1998... Hulk Hogan and the WCW, remember that was the other wrestling league, circuit, championship, whatever. Hulk Hogan and WCW President Eric Bischoff appeared as guests on The Tonight Show. The appearance turned into a hostile takeover as Hogan and Bischoff shoved Jay Leno's band leader, ran down Jay Leno, and brought out other members of the NWO to hijack the program. You know what? This probably appeals to a lot of people. The idea of Jay Leno being chased and then jostled by wrestlers, people would probably like that these days because he had the audacity to comment on late night television as if he would know anything about it. So then there was the WCW Road Wild pay-per-view in August of 1998. I was getting married that month. That's why I don't remember this at all. I was busy. For that event, Jay Leno teamed with Diamond Dallas Page to face the team of Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. Jay said, to this day, people go, man, look, Jay, I know wrestling is fake, but I could tell, man, you were ticked. And I go, no, I wasn't. I could tell. No, you can't. Don't you understand it's not real? When you threw him down, you were mad. I go, no, wasn't mad. Acting. While we're talking about Hulk Hogan, Mr. Summers told a story that Hogan's deal, anytime he did a personal appearance, he had to have a yellow Rolls Royce. One time they're going to the airport in the yellow Rolls Royce, and Hulk Hogan said, I hate being recognized. Summers said Hogan was also wearing his signature bandana at the time. Roy Wood Jr. was at the Edinburgh TV Festival. He's excited about what might happen for Stephen Colbert after CBS. Roy said, when he's running rampant on YouTube like Don Lemon, that'll create a bigger issue for this administration in 2026 if he builds an audience. If the Trump administration were smart, they'd leave us alone and let us tell our jokes. God bless whatever Stephen Colbert does next with no network pressure to give him notes. The Hollywood Reporter asked John Oliver, when was the last time a Last Week Tonight segment made you genuinely anxious? Oliver said, there's always a low-level anxiety with every story. I'd argue a healthy level of anxiety. And it's only about whether people are going to be willing to listen to us talk about something because it's so superficially dry or contentious that you're not sure if it's something people want to hear, and then you're practicing force-feeding. But that's part of the joy of having this show. The ability to show people things they might not necessarily think on their face they want to see. Just a few weeks ago, we did a long piece on juvenile justice, and that's the kind of story where we think, I'm not sure people want to hear this. But I think that's the absolute point of having a show like this. The Hollywood Reporter asked Oliver if they got any corporate interference over the years. This interview was a few weeks ago, so I guess theoretically he could have gotten some interference this morning. But as of a few weeks ago, John Oliver said, we've not experienced interference, and I refuse to worry about something that hasn't happened yet. My tolerance level would be 0. This would be over real quick. John said, I try to pay as little attention to what's happening outside of our show as possible because it feels like wasted energy. The moment it intrudes on our show, I'll react very badly to it, but it hasn't. So yeah, I try not to get angry about things that aren't happening to us. Variety asked Jeff Ross, does it require a different kind of stamina to perform 8 shows a week, his new Broadway show, compared to touring as a comedian? Jeff said, I don't know yet. Billy Crystal told me I'll be a new kind of tired, but I enjoy waking up in my own bed as opposed to heading to JFK or Newark Airport. Normally, as a comic, it'd be Friday in New York, Saturday in Detroit, Sunday in Cleveland, or whatever, so there's a real charm to the idea that I'm home and I can have dinner and walk my dog by 10:30. Good question here. What's it like to be vulnerable on stage when people know you for roasts? Jeff Ross said, that part's generally terrifying, because as a comedian, you want to have some swagger. You don't want to let them see you sweat. I had to drop that. On top of it, I had all these stories about my mom and dad were in rehearsals, and the tech people were like, all right, let's take it back to the beat where your mom dies. And I'm like, That's just a cue on someone's sheet, but for me, it's a very vivid memory. I have to go, he didn't mean it that way. He just wants to get the lighting right. Another good question. Are people surprised to find out you have a serious side? Jeff Ross said, I walk through the airport and people go, roast me. People treat it like it's a party trick, but there's a person in there. If I was that mean all the time, I doubt I'd have any friends and survive in show business. Spoilers. Okay, I'm going to spoil something. Everybody leaves the theater with a banana. The Hollywood Reporter was curious, what's the banana budget? Jeff Ross said, it's significant. It's in the thousands per week. Bananas aren't cheap with the tariffs. It's a whole thing. Someone has to pass them out, check them for fentanyl. Nah, I'm kidding. But it was a big discussion. I pushed really hard. Chinedu Onaka caught up with the LA Times about his special on Kevin Hart's thing there on Hulu, and I thought the special was really good. Chinedu said, shout out to Kevin for even putting vehicles like this out there because he doesn't have to, and it's not the first time he's done something like this before. I worked with him when he was booking comedians for his LOL network to go tape for Just for Laughs. His people reached out to my people. Like, we love Chinedu to do this for us. They paid us. They put us up. They flew us out. So to work with him again on something similar but on a bigger scale was definitely like a dream come true, especially respect to Kevin as an artist, but then also to his work ethic and how he goes about business and how he's just very forthcoming and helping the younger generation get eyes on them. Seeing how much attention to detail they took to it versus it being a rush job, it felt dope just the way it looked. All those Kevin Hart specials then on the Hulu series, those all look great. They filled the room. Everything about it felt actually special. So to have an opportunity to be one of the comedians selected was incredible, and I'm happy that I was ready for it and that it went well. We basically had one shot to tape it, too. I think I got it right. Bowen Yang talked about his JD Vance impression. He said, I was pretty resistant at first. After a few more conversations, I acquiesced, and then I went about it in the most child of immigrants way, where I hired a dialect coach, and I requested a screen test where I tried out different contact lenses, because I felt like so much of JD Vance's sort of visual eeriness was in his eyes, and I was like, we have to get that down. And then we tried facial hair options, and I took it as a serious charge, which may or may not have been the right way to go about it, but it's been an interesting journey. Hassan Minhaj is a spokesperson for Share the Meal, a program founded under the UN World Food Program that aims to make fighting hunger accessible. A video circulating on Instagram shows Hassan Minhaj calling for increased aid in Sudan. He describes how conflict within the country has resulted in the world's largest hunger crisis and then asks for the viewer support through donations to Share the Meal. Michael Palin revealed that he's made some end-of-life arrangements. He says, I do think about death, and the family are rather wonderful about it. Have you made a will? Can I be in your will? I've made my will and all that. My family and my children know where to find what they need should I die. He's even given all his passwords to his 3 children in case I get run over by a bus. However fit you are, anything might happen, but I don't dwell on mortality. I dwell on life. Eric Idle told the PA news agency that his wife is worried what would happen to Eric Idle's image once he dies. He told PA, I think it's a very interesting point. We ought to have protected ourselves by copyrighting our images. I know my wife's very concerned about that. She's going to copyright my image. I won't be there, so I don't really give a hoot. He talked about AI and said it's actually not bad at copying work, but it can only copy and not create. He said, I was with Professor Brian Cox the other night. He asked it to write a Python sketch, and it was crap, completely unfunny. It mentioned a few things, which obviously it picked up from Python, but it couldn't put them together in a new and funny manner, and I think that's the weakness with AI. I don't think it makes much difference with a lot of American TV, because that's just churned out. I think it can't be Robin Williams. I think it can't be Billy Connolly. I don't think it can be Spike Milligan. Cult following uncovered Jim Carrey's cover of the Beatles' I Am the Walrus. I was curious. I clicked on it. I didn't think it was that good, but one fan said, wow, he's good. You can tell he put a lot of work into that and want to do it right. Another said, holy S, he sings rather well. A third, wow, mind blown. An apparently insane person said, I can't listen to the Beatles version anymore because I enjoy Jim Carrey's version much more. The Stockton Latin Comedy Festival takes place today at the Adventist Health Arena. The night includes performances by more than 20 top comedians, including Carlos Mencia, Joey Medina, and the event was scheduled to honor Paul Rodriguez with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, Paul's been in the news lately. It's unclear to me if the award is still happening or not, and I hope Paul is okay. The Toronto Guardian was profiling some comedians, one of them Toronto comedian Ben Albert, who got a start in comedy by driving 8 hours to perform at Yuck Yucks in Ottawa. All right, Ben Albert, how do you describe your comedy style, and why am I coming at you with such an aggressive tone? Ben said, my comedy style would probably be described as a storytelling type. Being from Northern Ontario, it's crucial. You know how to tell a good story. There's nothing else to do. Oh, yeah? Well, who was your favorite comedian growing up? He said, I was always a big fan of Kevin Hart and Jamie Foxx. I liked how they would tell a good story while using their whole body as an expressive tool. Oh, yeah? Well, who's your favorite comedian now? Ben Albert said, I'm a big fan of Shane Gillis and Louis C.K. What's your pre-show ritual? I text my buddy and call him a loser, so I feel more confident. And that is your comedy news for today. If you would like the program without commercial interruption, you go to Apple Podcasts, you click the banner. It says uninterrupted listening. It'll tell you what to do. See you tomorrow.